topics. Today we'll be focusing on tech startups with very special guest Max Bloch and a very special guest from Tesla. Stay tuned.
Thank you, Alex and Michael. I'm Alex Weiss, and today I am joined with a very special guest. I'm here with Par from Tesla. So, Par, why don't you introduce yourself?
Sure. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for extending the invite out. Really appreciate talking to you guys. As you guys already know, my name is Par Damur. You go with Par. I'm working here at Tesla Fremont in California. It's almost close to 3 years now. I've been a part of the Tesla construction team. Started as an intern when I was in school, working as a construction manager currently, and helping the construction division, which is managing all the Tesla infrastructure in and outside the United States to make more sustainable cars, batteries, solar roofs. So far the journey was very exciting and challenging. And as you guys are already aware about like what cool stuff we do, a lot of effort has been put into our side from our teams all across the country to make sure like Tesla can make all the fantastic stuff. So happy to be here. Thank you so much once again for inviting me. And go from there.
So you talked about the pace, but what else stands out to you in terms of the work environment at Tesla?
I would say like the use of technology, right? So every day we are brainstorming ideas and working with the cross-functional teams to see like how we can automate and basically change a process which would require like more headcount per se or like more manual labor, right? So over here at the factory, for each and every operation which is being done manually, we are trying to come up with a solve, basically using like robots or like any kind of equipment or machines which can rate up the efficiency. Because for Tesla, like their monetary budget and profit comes out by pumping more and more cars, right? So for that, sometimes the labor and the manual effort can be a blocker. Like you waste a lot of time basically doing and handling operations manually as compared to replacing it with some automation which might help you expedite the way. So I think that's something which no other car company is doing as far as I know. There are other leaders as well, but they haven't automated a factory itself, which is basically pumping cars automatically instead of like putting labor into it.
So focusing a little more on the actual human labor, how would you describe the work ethic at Tesla between other employees like such as yourself and your coworkers and your peers?
I would say as far as work ethic is concerned, everybody's professional, obviously. Sometimes it's hard just seeing like the pressure and the challenge it might get to when we have some deadlines. Like as I said, like pace is what defines us. We move very, very, very fast. So the only drawbacks of moving fast is like things change last minute and it creates like a new pressure on everyone, right? So as far as you are able to professionally deal with it without letting your personal side come and like show it to the teams, I think that's something Tesla is striving towards. Everybody is very helping. If you, no matter like what experience you have, if you are a freshie or if you have like 20 years of experience, they will basically come down to help you. It's not like a hierarchy which needs to be followed. Like you can directly email Elon if there's a concern or if there's an issue which you feel would help Tesla even grow more. So per se, there is no hierarchy as such. Like all the communications are free flow. So I would say, like for me, work ethic wise, it's really good in terms of like how everybody is trying to help each other to achieve the common goal.
And lastly, our last question, if you could change one thing about Tesla, whether it be the work environment, the people you work with, the experiences you have, what would it be and why?
I know if Tesla listens my answer on this, they'll definitely fire me. But jokes apart, I would say like the work-life balance. It's really hard sometimes. We have done like a lot of improvements where we are right now compared to last year. Our team was very smaller, right? As I said, it can be challenging. Sometimes you need to put like a lot of hours into it. But I personally feel like on a brighter side, that's necessary, right? When you are aiming to change the entire world and make it sustainable, like obviously you need to put more hard work as compared to what normal people are doing. So I would go with like work-life balance, but at the same time, I also know like Tesla is working on those side, making sure like employees get enough time and they can balance their life outside work too.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Par. We really value your insight into Tesla. Unfortunately, that is all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Really great. We're here with Max Block. Max, do you want to tell us about yourself?
Sure thing, Alex. So I'm originally from South Orange, New Jersey. That's where I went to elementary school. Then I moved to Summit, which is pretty close by here, and went to high school there. I went to school in Missouri at Washington University in St. Louis, studied psychology and marketing. And now I'm working in New York for a startup called Flowcode. Have some experience at another startup beforehand, and enjoying life in the city. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So we're talking a little bit about tech startups today and all that. So can you tell us a little bit about Flowcode and kind of what they do?
Absolutely. So Flowcode, we like to say that we're more than just a QR code platform. We're really the connection from the offline world and the online world, right? It's like clicking a link in real life. We have a couple of products that we're live with right now. We've got the codes themselves, which can be custom designed for whatever company you'd like to connect with. And then as well, we have a sister product, which is a Flow Page, essentially just a mobile optimized landing page. And really where the power of the platform comes in is the data behind all that. Since you can see where people are scanning from in the world, you can see what links they click on afterwards and just watch their whole customer journey as they move through your funnel.
Interesting.
So, what we might know what a QR code is, not everyone watching may know what it is. So you want to explain to us what exactly a QR code is?
Sure. So a QR code was originally developed for a couple of different automobile companies, really for them to source parts. But the technology has really expanded worldwide since then. I'm sure in the pandemic you've seen a couple of them in restaurants to scan to a menu. And they power a lot of Asia's economy, actually. There's a lot of QR codes that lead to actual transactions. But what it is essentially a unique code that you're able to scan with your smartphone that can direct you to a website. It can trigger some sort of event to happen, but really just a way to connect from the offline world to online.
That's really cool. Yeah, I see them all over the place. I mean, you can't really miss them.
Yeah, that's right.
So obviously the company's like built around this idea of the QR code and everything. When it was first starting up, what was the idea behind like the actual necessity of it? Like, was it to get companies to use these QR codes to kind of get like an audience onto a certain page? Like, what was it?
Yeah, so when the company first started, QR codes were really a very side hustle, I guess.
Yeah.
The main focus of the company was actually doing events out of shipping containers. Very random, not related at all. But as a result, for those events, we were using QR codes to kind of help connect people from that event to whatever online materials were necessary. And so after we did a couple of those events, we realized they weren't really that profitable since you have to rent a shipping container, a lot of logistics going on. And we discovered that the QR codes, especially with the onset of the pandemic and people using them a lot more, are a lot more effective and a lot more interesting to people. And recently, if you watch the Super Bowl, there was a really big commercial for Coinbase. They had a QR code bouncing around, hitting the various sides of the TV, and that really exploded the company. It was really a big deal for us. And so since then, we've really been focusing a lot on QR codes, kind of as the front door to access the rest of Flowcode.
So now we know a little bit about what a QR code is and what Flowcode is and a little stuff like that. So what do you do at Flowcode? What's your part?
Yeah, my official role is called a Client Success Manager. What that means is I'm actually assisting the brands that use our tool. Right, so we're working with a number of different companies who want to put their codes on maybe a TV spot, maybe they want to put it on their packaging, maybe they want to put it in a newspaper. You can really put these things anywhere. And so they don't really know how big to make it, what types of messaging they should put behind it, what it should link to, how to really track it. And so that's what my team does. Is we're in charge of working with their teams and coming up with a strategy of how to best execute using one of these codes in their marketing plan or internal use cases, however they'd like to roll it out. We check in with them on a recurring basis, make sure that they're still enjoying their platform use, and then introduce new features too. Like we have new products that are coming out all the time. It's one of the cool parts about being part of a startup is that you're really just building things every week. The product last week could look completely different from the product this week. And so I get to talk about all those new changes and get the customers really excited about them and hopefully get them to use them.
That's really cool. I mean, I know I saw, and I'm sure, I know Michael saw it as well.
Sure.
During the NCAA March Madness tournament, they were everywhere.
That's right, every free throw.
Yeah, it was really, really
That's
cool.
crazy. That was cool.
Yeah. So you mentioned that Flowcode is a startup, which is the whole reason you're here today. So do you notice anything like cool about working at a startup, like the environment? Like, what's that like?
Sure. So a startup is a very young company. It's one that maybe has been developed in the past couple of years. Specifically, I'm in the tech startup field, so that's an even more a lean kind of company where we're really just trying to make things happen quickly, make changes very quickly, make the product better as quick as possible, so that we're able to get ahead in the market. So a startup is very high octane and fast paced, which is really great for someone just entering their career. You're able to advance pretty quickly. It does require some work, of course, because it is a company that is growing after all, and you are part of that growth engine. But being a part of that startup in that high octane world is very rewarding too, both for your resume and your experience.
Right, I'm sure.
So did you join Flowcode at like its early stages or right when it started? When did you join?
Yeah, so Flowcode was around as a different company called DTX, Direct to Everything, for a couple of years before I joined. When they started getting into like the codes themselves is really when I became more of a part of it. I joined earlier this year, but the company had been doing codes, doing events, had been in existence for 3 years prior. So this is in their 4th year. That said, the company's been private this whole time. We have just over 100 employees, which for how many different people use the product is very, very small. But as some of these bigger rollouts happen, like the March Madness one, we're definitely going to continue to grow, add on some more big brains to the team to continue growing and continue servicing people.
So where were you before Flowcode? So you said you joined pretty recently. So
That's right. So before Flowcode, I was at a different startup. That's the one that I joined straight out of school called Attentive. Attentive is a personalized mobile marketing solution, mainly through text messages or SMS. And so the way that would work is you go to a company's website, they tell you, hey, here's 10% off if you sign up for our SMS list. And Attentive is the company that powers the text that actually gets sent out. So there's a whole platform where you can automate the texts to send out on a regular basis. You can send out one-time messages for like a sale happening or a new product release, and really just helping brands connect to their consumers in a different channel than email, because we all know that everyone's emails get cluttered with a lot of different things that people aren't reading. So texting is a lot easier way to get people the information that they need.
So it's like the messages that you get from companies about those like
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That's interesting. Yeah.
it's really cool. So you hear a lot about this startup environment. Did you notice that at both Attentive and Flowcode?
Absolutely. The startup environment is pretty easy to find in New York. There's a couple of different companies that would consider themselves startups, and that's characterized by not needing to wear a suit when I go into the office. I could go into the office wearing this, ripped jeans and all. I'm working with a lean team and just in terms of getting things done quickly and efficiently. Even if the process isn't there yet, it's not going to go perfectly every time. It's really just about making sure that it gets done, making sure that the client is happy. And I would say at both environments, they ran a similar way. Flowcode is a little bit earlier stage, I would say, than when I joined Attentive. So a lot of the processes are even less developed. There's less things in place, which is a great opportunity, especially for someone coming in to kind of help establish those processes and decide what the rules should be and talk about what are the best ways to service clients. So that's a really rewarding part of the experience of being in a startup is you get to kind of help define what the rules are.
Yeah.
That's got to be really, really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a STEM show, right? We all are here because we enjoy STEM, all these kind of things. These tech startups is the dream, right? You really are living the dream that we all aspire to be there someday. So.
Yeah, I mean, everyone has their own definitions of kind of like what the dream is, for sure. But for me, this is definitely very close to what I wanted to do with my career, and hopefully inspires some other people to make those choices too.
Absolutely. So that being said, you said you work at these startups, but if you were more to do it yourself, right? If you were going to have your startup, let's say you had your product already, but would you run it similarly to how you've seen these companies run, or no?
Some ways. I think one of the best parts about having additional experiences and going from one job to the next is really just working with a whole new group of people, and they may have a whole different style of working. Like at Attentive and Flowcode, things ran completely differently. Yeah. And maybe one company did it better, and maybe the other company did a different process better. So there's definitely a lot of learnings that I've got from both of those experiences. I'm going to be taking a lot of those into account. And I have a lot of connections as well, people who I'm friends with, coworkers who are very, very smart. And so, like you said, that product idea, that whatever that idea is really the kicker. That's what I need in order to get started there, but definitely have considered it. Definitely some of my peers have considered it or even trying it out themselves. I see people starting their own companies all the time in the space. And that would really be a better opportunity to apply what I've learned, but certainly I've learned a lot for the experience.
So even though they were two very different companies, they were still both tech startups, right? So were there any kind of patterns of challenges that you saw across both companies?
Totally. Biggest challenge being that not everyone really knows exactly how we're going to get to our goal, right? We have these lofty goals set of how many people we want to scan a code, how many people we want to pay us a monthly fee to be on our pro plan or be on like, some of our bigger plans. And so in order to get to those goals, we have to service a certain amount of clients. Maybe we have to make the process faster for them to get a code up and scanning. Maybe we have to make it easier for them to use the platform. So definitely just the efficiency of people to use the product and how we can get them to use it more and use it, maybe even break it so that we can learn what bugs there are so we can fix it. That's definitely common for any tech. SaaS is a keyword I like to use, SaaS, that's solution as a service. So any SaaS tech product really has that model where you just want people to use it as much as possible, break it as much as possible, and then learn from that and fix it.
All right. Well, that was really great, Max. We're going to take a minute and learn about Tesla. Not Tesla. We're going to learn about TikTok. We just learned about Tesla. Learn about TikTok, and we'll be right back with Max in a bit.
TikTok. I'm sure you've heard of TikTok, but how much do you really know about it? TikTok is a short-form video-based social media platform centered around the everyday person. So what does that mean? That means that TikTok specializes in short, funny videos lasting either 15 seconds, 30 seconds, 1 minute, and now 3 minutes. Content creators on TikTok are left to the mercy of the TikTok algorithm. This algorithm dictates who sees your videos and at what time. To this day, it is unclear how the algorithm works and what factors it takes into account. This is why we need your help. We need you to follow us on TikTok at fire_robotics and like our videos as soon as we post them. With your help, we may be able to use the algorithm to grow our Fire family. And now, back to Michael and Alex in the studio.
Great. We're here with a real-life TikTok creator, Max, once again. Max, what do you do on TikTok?
I beatbox, Alex, on TikTok. I make beatboxing content, whether it's beats themselves, whether it's like little skits with beats in them, or commenting or stitching or duetting other people's videos with beatboxing. That's what I do.
That's awesome. Really cool. So have you how many followers do you have, first of all?
Just under 100,000, like 97,000 and change.
Wow.
It's impressive.
Yeah, it took a couple of years, but you have a couple videos that go viral, and people follow you for those. And if you make good enough content, it's consistent, then people want to follow and see what's up.
So did you have a video at the start that did go viral?
So it wasn't at the start, definitely.
Yeah.
I was posting videos pretty much once a day, maybe even twice a day for a couple months before I saw any real traction. Really just like a couple, handful of views. Started as like tens of views, then went to hundreds, then went to thousands, and then I had one video where I was explaining a technique with beatboxing, and that one was the first one that blew up. I got a couple 100,000 views for that, and that really started the snowball, where I kind of replicated that a couple of other times, explained other things. And you find a style of video that the algorithm likes, and you post a lot of those, and that's really how you get the growth. After you've achieved a certain level, then you can really focus on the content that you really want to post.
Yeah.
Right. So you hear a lot about this TikTok algorithm, right? It's this big, looming word that people either love it or hate it, right? How do you use the algorithm, or have you ever been overshadowed by the algorithm or anything like that?
Yeah, so I mean, the TikTok algorithm is how it chooses what videos to push to the For You page, and how it chooses what videos you would see while you're scrolling through. It's based on a number of different factors, based on the likes, based on the comments, based on shares, based on general engagement. But the number one most important metric for the algorithm is watch time.
Right.
So the quality videos that are not super long, so that people don't scroll before it's finished, but provide enough content for people to listen through the whole thing, really get pushed the most. And so there's ways to overcome the algorithm by making videos that have good enough content and aren't super long, so that people don't get bored before the end of it. But you also want to provide interesting content there. You can't just record a 2-second video. That one's not going to do well. So it's a nice balance between the two.
Right, so TikTok kind of wants you to make, or not it wants you to, but it would benefit creators more if they made shorter videos?
Not necessarily only shorter videos, just quality videos.
Right.
So we want completion time. You
Right.
want people to watch as
Watch
much
the
of it as
entire-
possible. So if you're gonna make like a 3-minute video, it better be super
Right.
high quality, very well edited, nice lighting, nice audio, everything like that. Other important factors to the algorithm pushing it are just the content itself.
Yeah.
But for the shorter content, it really needs to be poignant.
So these on TikTok, you see a lot of positivity, but there's also a lot of negativity. These hate comments can be really, really devastating. Have you ever gotten hate comments? And two, how do you deal with the negativity if you have?
Sure. I get hate comments all the time. I think it's kind of just part of being on the internet in general. There are people who hide behind their keyboards and say
Right.
things. You can assume that these people maybe wouldn't say these things in real life because maybe they're not bold enough to, but
Yeah.
given the anonymity of being on the internet, they're able to do that. And so overcoming that, maybe the first couple of ones I maybe took a little bit to heart, but you start to see similar comments like, oh, this is fake, this isn't real beatboxing, or like, your eyebrows are too big, things like that are just weirdly annoying like that. But it's like, at the end of the day, we know that it's just someone who's insecure about themselves as well. That's kind of why they're making these comments. It's the same way that you would deal with bullying or
Right.
any other kind of attacks on your character, and you just got to be above it. At the end of the day, I'm the one who's on there. If they're making a hate comment, that is still making a comment
Right.
and helping the algorithm and pushing my video at the end of the day.
That's
So
one way to think of it.
if they're gonna go ahead and post that's fake, go ahead and believe that it's fake. I'm sorry that you don't understand, but that's all good, man. You're helping push my video.
Right. So, as a TikTok creator, as a content creator, do you look at other TikTokers and other creators differently now that you're in their shoes?
Absolutely. Especially those very, very big creators who have millions and millions of followers. That is a lot of eyeballs on you at the same time, for lack of a better word. So that means every single little thing that you do in a video is going to be scrutinized by at least a couple hundred people. Every single little frame of your video is going to be watched. And so I've definitely seen videos of people who were really, really big and maybe couldn't handle that fame and kind of ended up having to kind of fall off, maybe weren't able to keep up with the content. And I've also seen people who have really risen to the occasion and made careers even out of their TikTok creation. So it depends on kind of the type of content, depends on the type of creator. I always give people the benefit of the doubt because they are trying hard and they're working on their content, and I want to support them in any way possible. But it depends on the creator, I guess.
So you've definitely gained some empathy for bigger TikTok creators that you see struggling and going through hard times.
Not even just the ones that are struggling, just even those that are pushing out videos every day. I know what that grind is like because I am also doing that. So I understand that it takes a significant amount of effort to put out even just one video. So having an appreciation for someone who's pumping out like 7 a day of solid content that's hilarious or educational or informative or helpful or interesting, whatever hook that they have, I have a lot of appreciation for that because that's not easy to do.
Yeah, for sure.
It certainly is very impressive. So, like, how did you get your start on TikTok, beatboxing, just like the whole thing in general?
Well, beatboxing, I've been doing that for a couple of years now. So that started in like middle school, maybe. Really just met someone else who I went to camp with, actually, who taught me initially, and then went on the internet and discovered it. There's a really deep community on YouTube, on various platforms of social media, Instagram and Facebook, TikTok now as well, of course, and really kind of grew the skills over that. I also did a cappella while I was at college in Missouri. So being with that group, I did some singing and I did some beatboxing as well for the group. So I had a lot more opportunities to make music with other people, which I think is a super valid and valuable experience as a performer and as a beatboxer in general. So that's really where like the skill set I think came from. Refining it, of course, by watching videos, more tutorials, things like that, and practicing every day. I can't take this instrument off of me. I bring it with me everywhere I go, so it's easy enough to practice. And then the TikTok really just was a natural next step where I had been recording Snapchat videos for my friends and sending them for years, just being like, oh, look at this new sound that I learned, or look at this cool new pattern. And that's just sending it out to a bigger audience now, as opposed to my Snapchat story. Now it goes to my TikTok followers.
All right. Well, that was really great, Max. Thank you for the insight. Do you want to shout yourself out before we and what's your at?
Sure. I'm at @thatblockhead_. I've been trying to get without the underscore, but the guy who has the without the underscore has his own page, so can't steal that name. But @thatblockhead_. No spaces, no caps.
Great. Well, that's all the time we have, but we have a very important announcement before we go. Us here at Fire and at SemTalk are launching our very own TikTok. Follow us at Fire_robotics. We'll be making content, fun content. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm Alex Block,
I'm Michael Diamond.
signing off. See you guys in the next one.